Uncle Sonny, a.k.a. the Sun Man.
Son man.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, buddy. Hanging in there.
Yeah.
Got some French press here.
Excellent. So what's what, Frank?
We're under construction.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we're
like
under
it.
construction. I brought a few friends with me today.
Yeah,
Don't
I
let it
see.
distract you. You know what I mean? You want to hold that? We'll grab the... Nice.
Perfect.
I think we got hazelnut, right?
Smells delish. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you, sir.
So what's what? I've been veering off the topics. And again, like I said, I want to veer back to the neighborhood, you know, Little Italy where I grew up. Talk about a couple of incidents that happened when I was younger, you know, coming up and stuff.
Yeah.
One sec, let's see how this is. Nice.
Perfect.
So anyways, mother's side of my family. You got a big family on my mother's side called the Picarillos.
Right.
My mother was real close with her cousin Annette Picarillo's mother, and my mother's mother, my grandmother, were sisters.
Okay.
Okay, so they were like first cousins. So Annette, her last name was Sabentino because she married some guy, or I don't think she married him, but she had a kid with a guy. I think they called him Peanuts or something because he had a peanut stand. Everybody in the neighborhood had a nickname back then, right?
Right. Always.
Peanuts, what else? Like,
Oh my goodness.
you could go on and on, right?
Sally the fruit guy.
Yeah, whoever, yeah.
Whatever you were associated with.
So-and-so eggs and this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
They're usually over food or something, right?
It was something to do with food, yeah.
Or a body part, right? Like so-and-so with the nose or...
Yeah. Jimmy the Chin.
Let's not say that.
Let's not say that. Right.
So
Sorry
anyways,
about that.
So short to long of the story, well, not short to long of the story, Annette has a son, Nicky, called him Nicky Boy. So Nicky Boy, I would say, was maybe like, 5, 6, 7 years younger than me. So I always looked out for him as a kid because of the mother, you know. Plus, he was a good kid. He was always like a real good kid, like go to school, not a troublemaker, not a fighter, just a kid from the neighborhood. At that time, we had pagers and beepers and stuff, right? There was no cell phones.
I remember. Yeah.
So I used to hang out. We used to hang out, well, all through Spring Street. I used to hang out in a club on Spring and Mulberry. My cousin owned that club, Alex Morelli. They called him Black Alex. He was a maid guy with the Genovese family.
Another nickname.
There we go, another nickname. We'll get into that. So that's a whole different episode. But around the corner, which is Spring and Mott Street, us and all kids from the neighborhood, we all hung out in that corner because a lot of the neighborhood moved into this one tenement apartment building called 21 Spring.
Okay.
So from all the buildings and stuff, everybody condensed into this brand new, it's still there today, right? So anyway, I'm on the corner. Annette, Nicky Boy's mother, comes running down with tears in her eyes. She's going, they got my son by his girl's house. They're getting ready to beat him up. I said, oh, calm down, right?
So they got him trapped over in this apartment
They got
building
him
or
hostage,
tenement,
yeah.
whatever you want to call it at that time.
Back then, every neighbor was very territorial. Okay? We really had predominantly 3 neighborhoods growing up. We had the 6th Ward, which was Little Italy, my neighborhood.
Yep.
We had the 4th Ward, which was Cherry Street, Monroe Street, Madison Street. It was like a Italian neighborhood down there by the fish market.
Okay.
And then you had the West Side, they called it, which was the Village. And then there was another Italian neighborhood, but it was really not Italian anymore because it really got diminished down to only a few people. So it really wasn't on the map, but there was some kids that came from there. It was a street like on First Avenue and like 10th Street, 11th Street, 12th Street.
Yep.
I don't know, there was no name for the neighborhood. It was just a couple of cafes left there. And it really wasn't, it was a neighborhood that really didn't count in the world when I was growing up. Right? If you went out with a girl from my neighborhood, right, you would say you were from the West Side.
Yeah.
We would be like, well, what the F are you doing here? And we want to know.
You don't fit in, yeah. What are you doing?
You want a girl from the West Side? What are you doing here? Like, who do you go out with? You know, why are you going out with her? Nobody minded their business when it came to that.
That's right. Yep.
Anyways, we have some nice sandwiches, by the way, huh?
Yeah, they were delicious. Glad we got to eat a little. I was getting hungry.
He's dating this girl on First Avenue on 12th Street. He's upstairs. There's like 10 or 12 kids downstairs waiting with hardball bats, chains, knives. They're getting ready to put him in the
They're
hospital.
going to do them in.
Yeah. So she's got tears in her eyes. She's crying to me. I'm going, Annette, calm down, calm down. She says, by his girl's house. I got to get him out of there. I don't know what to do. You know, single mom.
Yeah.
Terrified.
She's lost at that point. Yeah. No question.
So I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So I always had a gun on me every day. And I didn't know what to expect, what I was getting myself into. Anyway, there's this kid they used to hang around me. I'll get into him a little bit.
Yeah.
I nicknamed him Joe Bates.
Joe Bates.
Norman Bates from the Bates Motel.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah. Psycho.
But his real nickname was Joey Orange.
Okay.
His name was Joe Corallo. Skinny Joey. His father was Sally Ears. Here we go with the nicknames.
We're right back to the nickname. Sally Ears.
Everybody
Can't
from the
imagine
neighborhood,
why.
everybody from the neighborhood know what I'm talking about, but this
Yeah.
goes into a whole nother story, so
Gotcha.
I'm going to cut it there.
Yeah.
Sally Ears was good friends. Well, not good friends. Well, yeah, I guess say good friends and associated, and he worked for Mark Ryder. Mark Ryder was a Jewish guy. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Name sounds vaguely familiar.
One of the big drug deal, one of the biggest drug deals that ever existed. Affiliate with the Mafia, who hung around John Gotti and them. So not to get into all of that. So Sally is his son, who was Joe Corallo, who when he met me, he had a nickname called Joey Orange.
Okay.
But I renamed him Joe Bates. So Joe Bates is hanging around. He was always around, right? I says, hey, get in the car, come take a ride with me. You're going to ride. I need somebody to look out for me. I had a 25 Beretta, kept it in my, what do you call that compartment right there?
Console?
Yeah, a little console. 6 shots, 6-shot clip, nothing big. So I told Annette, I says, hey, call your son's girl's house, tell him I'm on the way. When he sees my car, just come down.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, I was driving a Volvo 7 something, they called it.
You
series.
drove a Volvo.
Yeah, Volvo. Yeah. They were nice cars. I never forget, silver or black interior.
Nice car.
What was it, 740?
Okay.
740 Volvo.
Yep.
Yeah. I get Joe Bates, I stick him in the front seat. We go down to that neighborhood. So I pull up. And there had to be, he was right, there had to be at least 10 kids there.
Oh, boy.
Hardball bats. I mean, like, what the hell?
They're sending them to the hospital minimum.
Yeah. So I get out of the car. I open the door. His girl is like on the 5th floor. She sticks her head out the window, right? Because I beeped the horn. And I started yelling. I says, hey, send him down, right? So he comes down. And I want to make sure nothing happens to him for him to walk to my car. Well, he's over there. He's looking at me from the front of the building.
Yeah.
I'm standing up with the door open. And I told him, come on. Like this, wave to him. He runs over, gets in the car. I make sure he gets in. That was it.
10 kids don't do nothing at this point?
Right, they didn't do anything. They didn't make a move on him. But what I should have did was, looking back, I should have never did what I did right after that.
What'd you do then?
Well, I lowered the window down, and I emptied the whole clip